What are the red flags to look out for on a creator you shouldn't trust?
Creators. Oh, I thought you were going down a different route there. I was about to start listing them off.
Blondes.
Pulse, honestly. For content creators, I have 4 red flags. So we work with a lot of creators on brand partnerships. And this is what this is coming from. If you're a content creator, what are the red flags if you are a brand looking to spend money on some form of influencer marketing? Because there are certain things that when a creator tells me, I'm like, I don't think you're going to be great to work with. Now, my first one is simply refuses any sort of performance incentive. Now, do I think every creator should be up for doing affiliate-only deals? No. In fact, it annoys me when brands are only trying to do affiliate deals because you're not going to get a good creator on that. But when a creator simply refuses any sort of performance incentive, it's like, it is this much money and I will not take, even if it's there, they don't care about taking it. It just implies to me that they're a puppet and they're not going to actually try and push the product. If you say to them, like, oh, we'll reduce your fixed cost by 20%, but offer you an amazing affiliate, a good creator would, at a very least, seriously consider that. But any creator who flat goes, no, it has to be the full amount up front, I'm not doing any sort of performance, that worries me a little bit. Because if you back what you're selling, which you should, and the offer is good enough, you should make a whole lot more money by doing it that way. So I think a big red flag is that when creators are simply shutting the door in the face of performance incentive, in the face of affiliate, as part of a fixed cost deal, but maybe at a slightly reduced fixed cost rate.
I guess it depends on how much inbound they have. I think if I was a creator and people, I'm constantly getting emails and DMs around sponsorship, I think I would be a bit like that. I think if I, because then you can choose, you can do what you want. If you're the best and you've got loads of inbound of people that are willing to pay that, then I kind of get that. It's like, don't waste my time with it because I've got all of these. And I've seen creators like that. But I think if there's someone, who's got no brand deals or very few, then yeah, I would be somewhat worried as to why they definitely wouldn't want to do that. Which kind of brings me on to one red flag I have, which is somebody who won't share their backend data, especially
I forgot that one.
You should update your newsletter, boss. But things like lead source and location,
traffic source.
Sorry, traffic source and your location, huge. Because it's like, cool.
Video retention.
It's like, are you getting bots? And if somebody doesn't want to show that, I'm like, okay, immediately don't trust you. And it's like, that sort of goes hand in hand with somebody who doesn't want to do any sort of incentive, because it's almost like they know, like, this isn't going to convert because those aren't real people. Yeah,
exactly. So I completely forgot about that one. So we have 5. Because, we've come across a few creators where we've suspected them to be fake, and then you ask for certain stats, and they're like, no, I'm not sending those. Or even sometimes, you know what just winds me up? Is creators who are entirely legit, but it's like, oh, that's personal data, I'm not going to send you that unless you have something on the table. So what do you think I'm going to do with your age demographics? Oh, guys, by the way, this podcast has 8% female listeners. Wow. But I'm choking. It's annoying me that much.
Oh, careful.
But yeah, that is just a red flag in creators itself, and they're not fun to work with. But it can be a massive indication that, okay, either their audience isn't as good as you'd hope it is, or it's not entirely real. And it's very important to know what to look out for in that sense. But yeah, so there's 2.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You've planned your 4.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see if I can outdo you every single one. I've not planned any. That was my one.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can come up with 8.
Let's see if we can come up with 8.
Go.
Bloody hell.
We'll see whose red flags are better. By the way, that might have been my only one.
Yeah, I reckon I've got a chance here.
I'm gonna try my luck.
Okay, you'll probably just nick my third one or something like that. So number 3 and my number 2 is creators with too many ad slots. If you're a 45-minute podcast, you do not need 7 sponsors. And actually, when a creator goes, do you want the 3rd mid-roll slot? I understand. No, I don't want the 3rd mid-roll slot. Don't worry. It goes straight after the 1st and 2nd mid-roll slot. Of course it does. Oh, and before that, I promote my own stuff. Of course you do. So look into, if you're a brand looking to work with a creator and influencer, look at, first of all, how many brands they promote. But if it's long form content, be it podcast or YouTube, how many are they promoting in that space? You can realistically do pre-roll or right at the start, essentially. Mid-roll, a certain length, you can get away with a few mid-rolls if it's quite a long podcast. Maybe 2 mid-rolls, I'd say. And then post-roll. If you're if you're Chris Williamson, you can probably do 3 mid-rolls. And it's longer content and you can fit it in
2.5 hours, fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if you're an hour-long podcast and you've got 5 ads in there, I don't know. It's definitely a red flag because there is no way you as a brand are going to get a good reception as the third or fourth ad read on that episode. And you just know that they will promote absolutely anything if they've got that many ad slots.
It's be a great time to do an ad read.
It was, yeah. Just breaking away from the episode quickly, so I have a question for you, Kane.
Okay.
What is your favourite thing in the world?
I can't say that on air.
Second favourite thing in the world?
Also can't say that on air.
Third?
Doing this podcast.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm really, really glad. But what is your least favourite thing about doing this podcast?
Production, editing.
Well, look, if you look at any of the top podcasters in the world, your Joe Rogans, your Stephen Bartlett, your Chris Williamsons, any of these guys, they all have videographers, they have studios, they have people doing their copy, they probably have people polishing their shoes in the background, right? There is a tool, Riverside.fm, which can do all of those things except polishing the shoes at an extremely high standard without the cost. It is the best video quality for any form of virtual recording. It also has AI tools to help you with things like show notes, titles, and even clipping up your episode into social media clips.
What's unbelievable is when you actually do the interview, whilst you're in the interview, it's already running. So as soon as you're finished, the social media clips are ready. You've got a transcript ready. You've got your titles done. And now it's a hosting site. So you can upload to Apple and Spotify directly from Riverside. So you only actually need one subscription to have a podcast.
That's a seriously good software, if you ask me. There is a link in the description. You'll get yourself 15% off, or you can just try it for free. And I'm even going to put a funky QR code on the screen.
You're going to.
Do you know why? Because I'm saving time on all the other stuff because I've got Riverside.fm.
Well, back to the episode. This one, brands don't see it as a red flag, but they should. When they have recommended somebody in your industry before. So there's times where we approach a brand saying, listen, we've got a creator, we've got a campaign idea, here's a sponsorship proposal we think is going to do really well. And have they worked with other company X in our industry, and can you share the results? It's like, no. Because if they had, I wouldn't be speaking to you. We get this a lot on like the business side. So let's call it like an investing platform, for example. It's like, we want to sponsor this money and investing podcast. Has one of our competitors advertised in there before? If so, what were their results? If it was good, like, let's talk. It's like, no, it's like, yes, they have done it. And they did really well. And now all the customers you want to get, you're not going to get because they've already been mopped up. They've already been purged. It genuinely hurts my brain. It's like, I don't understand how brands think. It's like, oh, if they've spent money elsewhere, if our competitors have spent money on this before and it's gone really well, it's like, then we'll do it. It's like, that's so stupid.
Find a similar audience, a similar podcast with a similar audience.
Yeah, you want a virgin podcast.
Virgin podcast.
You want one that hasn't been dated yet. Dated.
Hasn't had any ads inserted.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, yeah, your one. That one pisses me off.
The flip side way of using it, which I think is a good idea for brands, is using it for the negative. Is, have you promoted any of our competitors in the last 6 months? If yes, I'm not working with you.
Exactly.
VPNs do it. Trust me, we've spoken to all of them. So have they touched this in the last 6 months? You'll do it. When we spoke to them, have they promoted any of these 36,000 brands that are somewhat related to us in the last 6 months?
Has your audience had a drink this week?
Have they had a meal? Yes. No, they shouldn't. They should have fuel 4 times a day for the last 6 months. But no, this is a compliment to them. It's a good thing. You should look at, have our competitors sponsored this podcast? If yes, stay away, unless it was a very long time ago. And also, when they're like, if you look at it, say as a VPN, it's like, oh, it was a year ago, but they done 1 episode and they didn't renew. Well, odds are that audience didn't receive a VPN ad particularly well then. So don't fucking try.
Yeah.
So most of the time, unless it's a event related campaign or it's around a specific marketing angle, if it's just a standard sponsorship, if it goes well, they'll keep doing it. So if they've promoted someone else in your space before, and they're not promoting someone else in your space now, it probably didn't go too fucking well, or unless it was over a long period of time. So that's another reason to kind of back up that point you make. And I do like when brands, I don't like it. It does my head in because they're like, who sponsored them the last year? It's like, oh, don't make me do this. But it's smart from the brands to go, have any of our competitors worked with these guys recently at all? If yes, I'll pass, because either they're associated with that brand and it doesn't look well, and odds are, if they're not promoting them now, then it didn't work.
Mm-hmm. I agree. You're number 3. Calm on fire so far.
You are doing well. Creators who sell completely fixed slots rather than a partnership, which is not always a bad thing, but when creators are like, this is how we do sponsorship, you must pay for exactly 12 integrations. They'll be exactly 60 seconds long, and they will be placed exactly here in the episode, and here is the cost. Oh, would you consider doing... No, I will not consider anything else. This is the sponsorship package. No movement. And I think as a brand, the best sponsorships are partnerships. And we've seen that with our most successful one in the insurance space, right? Like that partnership's grown way beyond the podcast sponsorship to crazy things that would never have been considered in the first campaign. But because you're adaptable and you're open to things and you'll adjust to suit a brand, this doesn't mean discounting your prices. But, is there a way of doing two ad reads where one's maybe a bit of product placement, or is it a little bit longer? Is it said in this way, or do you get the brand involved in this way? Is there social media promotion? Is there openness to a partnership that goes beyond just buying a slot? Because a creator that sells 6 slots and you pay for 60-second ad gets placed, that is it. No, nothing else. That, to me, is off-putting.
Yeah, it's sort of similar to earlier. So sometimes I can see it from someone who's got choice. You know, let's say you're Stephen Bartlett, for example, and you've got everyone knocking on the door, and like realistically, it's like, you know, when you give like a fuck you price, you're like, no, we only do 12 months. It's $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and like basically, if you're not that, jog on.
Yeah.
I think so. If you are a really large creator and you're completely full and you've got inbound, then you can kind of do that as a bit of a sort of like shit test. But I do agree, like when someone who's then like, let's say you're a brand and you pass those tests and you're like, cool, we're a brand you like, we've got the budget, we're agreeing to do that sort of term. So now I've sort of got through the shit test, like, can we talk like adults?
Yeah.
And just like, I kind of want something more than just, like, if I'm spending this much money and I'm committing to this sort of length, like, I kind of want something a bit different. I don't want it just to blend in with everything else. You know, I'm asking for something small. Listen, yeah, fine. That might be an increase in price. You know, it might involve extra production costs. Like, fine, whatever. I'm not asking for the world. But it's like, yeah, I think I can see it from a busy, successful creator's point of view. If you're not, just grow up, just take the deal.
Busy, successful, or simply just don't like that side of being a creator. If you just don't like the business side and you're like, oh, okay, it's this much, which is where we often come in, and we have got clients who are like, oh, it's this much for an integration. It's like, cool, let us make something with that. And we'll put together a campaign proposal. You speak to brands like, okay, look, they want to do this. And we can be adjustable. But you know, the creator's like, yes, X for X. Like, okay, mate.
I think, okay, yeah, I agree.
What's yours, boss? You've got another one?
I have, of course I have. I'm ChatGPT.
Nice.
All right, so it requires work from the brand, but I would consume a fair amount of content of the person you're looking at partnering with and try and find their opinions and values. If you can't find any, red flag. But also, if they do have some and it may sort of contradict what your brand values are, it's like, but they're willing to talk, it's like, also major red flag. Because that, they might have the reach, they might have, you know, a platform, but I promise you they don't have an audience that converts. Because like their audience will have a good bullshit detector. And if they're always sort of like flipping and flopping from like, I think this, and like, they don't really have any strong sort of values and opinions, like people don't necessarily trust them as much. Same thing is like really vanilla creators that basically are always sat on the fence. They also don't convert very well. People that really share sort of personal information and they share opinions and they might say something that might have backlash. It's like those are the ones that then have the diehard fans, because it's like basically they go, yeah, there are a bunch of people who disagree with us, but I have this strong opinion and you voiced it and I agree with you. It's like those are, I respect you for that. Those are the diehard fans that actually then go and buy stuff. And it's just like, so basically it's like, are they on the fence and don't really have any opinion or change it a lot? Their audience doesn't buy anything. Or do they have a really strong opinion, but your product doesn't agree with that opinion? It's like, that's probably also not going to convert too well either.
Yeah, we've seen this with our clients. We've got a money-focused creator, very, very popular. And then we spoke to a business bank before who wanted to promote their savings program. And I was like, audience is perfect, but he's the most savings person in the traditional sense. So it's like,
his quote is, savers are losers.
There you go. So that's his opinion. So for them to then go promote this savings account, not only would the brand be throwing money down the drain because it just wouldn't convert, it would look horrendous on him.
Yeah.
And he would not work with that brand for that reason. But there are people who would say, oh, I'll say it for the ad.
Yeah.
So I think as frustrating as it could be for us sometimes, if we've got a brand opportunity for a creator, they're like, it doesn't align with me. So, oh, for fuck's sake. At least then they're a genuine client in the sense that they will only work with someone that makes sense for them. Because, yeah, if they've got 6 ad slots and they're a fixed price and they won't move on any of it, and they will promote something against their will, you may as well just go sponsor one of those meme pages on Instagram because it's the same sort of thing, right?
Number 4.
This is my final one.
It's crazy you have to use your phone.
I've got the memory of a goldfish. This one is a big one for me. And actually, it's brands that normally get this wrong. But scripts. If you have a creator who's like, I need a script, and actually a brief with some bullet points, do it in your own tone isn't enough. There's like, no, give me a full script. Run for the hills. Because what they're saying is, I can't be asked, and I don't give a damn. And I'm just going to create whatever you give me to tick a box and post it. Probably the same guy with 6 ad slots at fixed price promoting everything, right? So...
Who's this guy with 6 ad slots?
So brands get it wrong and send scripts all the time. The best creators will say to the brands, like, hey, I'm not going to follow the scripts. I'll follow some points and we'll do this and that. I mean, we had this situation on ad reads we've done for this, right? It's like, give us a brief, but we're going to wing it because it's how we do it.
We know how to speak to our audience.
Yes, you as a brand will never, ever sell to a creator's audience as well as they can. So if a creator is asking you to do that bit for them...
Oh, it's going to be terrible.
It's because they don't care and the output is going to be poor. Pretty on the nose, pretty straightforward, that one.
Yeah, I agree.
There is no harm in rough scripts or briefs, but the creators that you give them the least and they make the most are the best. So give them the talking points, give them things they need to say, maybe a sentence as part of a call to action.
Yeah, you might have like a campaign going right now and there's a particular product you're trying to push. Great, let me know look, it's a brand new product, so I've not used it, tell me about it, great, fine. But it's like, yeah, if a brand is giving me a script, I'm immediately ripping that up and going, no thank you, we'll do it our way with, within your sort of barriers. And even worse, creator going, I need this, and it's going to be robotic, word for word. It's terrible.
Absolutely.
What you mentioned earlier is there's 3 angles to sponsorship, which is conversion, brand awareness, or association. Association is the thing as a creator which makes you the most money. Once you're really well known and you're trusted, if you can just slap your face on something, it's like brands pay a premium for that because it's no longer a CPM because you can't compare it to anything else. It can also go the other way. So as a brand, you also need to be looking at like, who is this person associated with? What do they represent? What other people have they got coming on? Who have they had on their podcast previously? Who are they, in public with all the time? It's like, you don't want to sponsor the guy on the Epstein files. So
probably not.
So it's like, what's the association is what will make you a lot of money. if it's the right sort of association, but it can also damage your reputation.
Yeah, look into who they are, who they're associated with. Have a little search on every platform you can find about this person and see what you can find. Is that all of them then? Is that all 8?
Yeah, I smashed that.
You did really well, mate.
You
Well
also
done.
did great.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Well, until next time.
Adios.